I'm Adam Watson, Digital Learning Coordinator at Shelby County Public Schools in Shelbyville, Kentucky. Welcome to our vodcast series, Shelby Speaks, Looking Forward. We chose this subtitle for two reasons. We are looking forward to the time when we can be face-to-face with our students again, but we are also looking forward in time to the educational future of our district. We really have two questions for these vodcasts. The major questions are, what are Shelby teachers learning in the middle of this non-traditional instructional experience? And how will it transfer and transform their classrooms when they are once again inside their schools? In this episode, we're here today with Catherine Underwood, who teaches science for high school students at our Big Picture Learning Academy on our Milestone campus. Catherine, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thanks.
So we're going to just jump in with our very first question here. And our first question is, what structures were already in place that helped you transition to this extended period of unplanned, non-traditional instruction time?
Well, at Big Picture, we have an advisory model, and each group of about 15 students has an advisor that's with them their 4 years while they're with us. So that's a closer family group of students with that one advisor, and definitely that helps us communicate with those students a little more easily. We all have each other's cell phone numbers. If I have trouble reaching a student that's not in my advisory, I can reach out to that advisor and say, hey, would you get in touch with this student and let them know I need to talk to them about their science assignments.
Great. Well, what were some unexpected challenges that you had, or you or your students had to overcome?
I think the biggest challenge right now is internet access with our students. Most of them have really good internet access, and we have a few that thought they did, but now that they're trying to work from home, they realize that it's not as good as they thought. So we've been mailing things to some students. I have one student that still has a flip phone. So
wow, a flip phone.
Yes.
There you go. I mean, you don't think about these things until, yeah.
Yes. So it's just finding the best way to reach out to students. Some prefer email, some prefer texting, some prefer FaceTime, just finding their preferred method and the best method to reach them.
Great. Well, I want to get to the heart of our vodcast. Our big question is, what is a new tool or strategy that you're using during your NTI time that you plan to utilize when you transition back to your brick and mortar school?
Okay, let me show you what I'm using for my science non-traditional instruction work here. I created a menu of choices for them, and they just have to pick a certain number. They have to do 2 assignments a week from the list. Our school picked a theme of entertainment, and we kind of ran with that theme. So I looked for some opportunities for entertainment and science. Some of my biggest memories from high school science were things like insect collection, science experiments, identifying organisms, making models out of paper mache. Those were things that helped me love science and just be passionate about it. I really want my students not to necessarily focus on specific science standards, but just I want them to be lifelong learners. I want them to be effective communicators. So just communicating their responses back and forth with me is really important. I want them to feel like scientists. I want them to feel like they, know how to find answers to problems. They can problem solve well. I want them to be able to do those things. So I designed those activities around those thoughts.
That's great. One thing I really love about that too is that it gives a personalized learning approach and opportunity for those students. So, I mean, I can imagine they'll love that. And I can imagine you using that when you go back to the classroom of, here's interesting, authentic ways of applying science, but also you have choice in what you want to learn about.
Yeah, and I had a few specific students in mind when I created some of the activities. I know some of them are very artistic and they like to draw. So I had some creating art as one of the options for them. I have a student that's writing a science fiction novel. So I said, why don't you, expand on your science fiction novel, send it to me, send it to your English teacher. So we're really trying to be flexible with all our students.
I love that. Cross content too, English
Yeah.
and science. Very cool. Last question for you today is, if you could go back in time and give advice to your pre-NTI self, what would it be?
I kind of wish I had more experience using a learning management platform like Google Classroom, just so that my students are more prepared for something like this and they would know a little bit more easily where to go for information, where to go for updates, where to go for assignments. Right now, I'm just mostly using texting and emailing to keep them updated. But if we had if I had that in place, I feel like it'd be a little more smooth.
Well, it's a very good point. Great advice. Well, thank you, Catherine, so much for spending time today with us and for sharing your professional learning.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Be sure to check out our Shelby Speaks Looking Forward vodcast playlist on our Shelby County Public School YouTube channel for more episodes. And again, thanks for watching.